Very happy to report that the current drop in the price of gas, down 50 cents per gallon over the past 34 days, is one of the fastest decline in retail gas prices in a decade. At current prices, the average American driver will spend about $25 per month less on gasoline than they would have if prices had stayed at their June peak.
All right, that's the White House chief economist taking a victory lap on the recent drop in gas prices. Prices are down nearly 50 cents from a month ago. They're still up roughly 42% from a year ago. Well, and way up from when Joe Biden took office. Inflation is still up more than 9% in the past 12 months, largest jump in more than 40 years, as you feel the pain at the pump, grocery store, everywhere in between, and they are all interconnected. NewsNation political editor Chris Steyerwalt with us tonight. Hey, according to the White House, the problem's solved.
Well, I mean, what do you expect them to say? These are politicians, right?
Huh?
They're not going to say, yeah, you know what? I think the Republicans are right. We screwed this up and the inflation is really our fault and we're sorry and we'll see you next year. This is why we don't listen to partisans. And this is why when partisans talk, we take liberal grains of salt with it. This is for the same reason that Republicans don't say, you know, we actually contributed to the inflation when we were voting for to run trillion-dollar deficits while the economy was growing. So, right. You know, it's politicians.
Success is mine and failure is yours.
Our
old mutual colleague at Fox News, James Rosen, actually sort of asked that question at the briefing. Take a listen.
Having it both ways, Jared, because when the gas prices go up, it's got nothing to do with the president. When we see some decline, you want him to get the credit. It was Putin's fault. When they're coming down, he gets the credit.
Yeah, I very much disagree with that framing.
You disagree with it, but it's kind of true, right?
But again, I mean, you cannot blame the scorpion for stinging. You cannot blame politicians
for being
trying
politicians.
to get reelected.
Let me take it. You put it in. Polling, 30% approve of Biden's handling of the economy, 25% approve of his handling of inflation, which are interrelated depending on how you ask the question. His overall approval rating not that much better. Does it matter really what the price at the pump is, or does it matter what everybody feels in the meat aisle, the dairy aisle, when they get their electricity bill, when they look to go buy a new car?
So the challenge for Democrats is that about this time of the year, it's summertime, of an election year is when attitudes about the economy set in. There's a very famous case, George H.W. Bush. The country was actually out of recession when he lost re-election in 1992, as Democrats said, oh, it's the economy, stupid. It's the economy, stupid. Well, if it was the economy, then the economy was doing better. And George H.W. Bush should have been rewarded, not punished. But instead, voters' attitudes set it's not right now, but it's almost right now, right? It's before Labor Day. People say, this is how things are. I've made up my mind. Because remember, we're talking about those persuadable voters, that third or so of the electorate that is up for grabs to some degree or another. And for these folks, if the decision is the economy is a mess, then they're going to be much more prone to vote for the party out of power as opposed to the party in power. Biden's hope has to be that enough movement on gas prices and enough movement on other prices helps marginal Democrats say, you know what, maybe let's stick it.
So long way of saying, I guess, that it's sort of how people feel, right? It's their emotional feeling, not necessarily what the data says. Unemployment numbers don't matter if you can't afford your grocery bill. And we're talking about persuadable voters, not necessarily those for whom climate change is a number one issue, even a number 5 or 8 issue. Here's Pete Buttigieg talking, though, about the price of gas as it relates to that.
The more pain we are all experiencing from the high price of gas, the more benefit there is for those who can access electric vehicles.
Just from a political standpoint, what persuadable voter wants to hear, hey, it's great you're paying more for gas?
Joe Biden's claim that he would be a transformational president on environmental issues and on climate change, et cetera, sounded great when gas prices were rock bottom, right? What were gas prices like when Joe Biden got elected? Super low, because we were in the crushing recession. And now The economy is growing quickly, and inflation is up, and demand for energy is up, and it's a mess. And all of the things that he thought that he was going to be able to get away with, he can't get away with. So instead, he's going over and sucking up to the Saudis. Instead, he's asking for more oil to be pumped. Instead, he's opening up U.S. drilling. Instead, he's doing these things. And the reality, of course, is that he's trading in on the priorities that he said he was going to be present for with Democrats. And this is where you trade your base for the middle, right? This is where you say, boy, we'd really like to get the base fired up. We'd really like to get these core Democratic voters out. However, I'm getting slaughtered with these middle class, middle of the road voters who are only thinking about these prices. And if I'm talking about climate change right now, and he's getting ready to, so he's going to try to talk out of both sides of his mouth. He's going to try to talk to Democratic base voters and say, I still care about these environmental issues, and I'm going to use my pen and phone to do that. Out of the other side of his mouth, he's going to say, please, 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 Gulf states, pump more oil. We've got to bring these prices down.
Well, that is a nice way to wrap things up, because he will be talking about the environmental issues at least tomorrow, but not doing everything that his base wants. And I think you and I are going to be talking later in the week about that. It's good to see you, my friend.
You bet.
Yeah, thank you.